You know, when you picture classic tennis, you probably think of graceful players, these long, flowing rallies, a game of real touch and finesse. But then you watch the pros today, and wow, it's something else entirely. It's explosive, it's almost violent power. The game hasn't just evolved, it's been totally re engineered. So today, we're going to break down the science that turned this beautiful art form into an absolute powerhouse sport. So, how in the world did this happen? How did tennis get so incredibly powerful? And look, the easy answer is athletes just got bigger and stronger. But that's just a tiny piece of the puzzle. The real answer is this amazing story of technology, biomechanics, and data, completely changing every single part of the game. All right, let's really get into it. So, where do you even start with a transformation this big? Well, it all begins with the most logical thing, the single most important tool a player has. Before you can build a modern player, you've got to build a modern weapon. And that, of course, is the racket. Yeah, this timeline right here, it basically tells you everything you need to know. You had the wooden rackets of the 70s, which were all about precision and touch. Then you moved to metal in the 80s, which gave you a bit more stability. But man, the real game changer, the earthquake moment, was in the 90s with graphite composites. This wasn't just a new material. It completely rewrote the laws of physics for tennis. Okay, so here's the why that matters so much. Those old wooden rackets, they were heavy, they were flexible, and they had a teeny, tiny sweet spot. You had to be incredibly precise. But these new graphite frames, the total opposite. Light, incredibly stiff, and with these huge heads. And that stiffness, that is everything. Less energy gets wasted in the racket flexing, so more of that raw power goes straight into the ball. All of a sudden, players could swing for the fences with way more room for error, unlocking a kind of pace and spin that the old guard could only dream of. Right, so you've got these incredible new weapons. What do you need next? A whole new kind of athlete built to use them. This is what led to the modern player, who is honestly less of an artist and more of a finely tuned biomechanical engine. And this is the secret sauce to all that modern power. It's called the kinetic chain. It's the technique that these new, stiffer rackets made possible. And look, it's not about having a strong arm. It's about using your entire body in this perfect whip-like sequence. The power starts from the ground, driving up through the legs. Then it gets amplified by this violent rotation of the hips and the core, transferred up through the torso and shoulder. And then finally, it just explodes through the arm and into the racket. Every single link in that chain multiplies the force. And what happens when you perfect that kinetic chain? You get this. Over 120 miles per hour on an average first serve. That is just an insane number, and it's what you get when you combine space-age technology with a body that's been trained to be a perfect force-generating machine. Okay, so the rackets changed, the players changed, but that wasn't the end of it. The game itself actually got smarter. It entered the era of data. It became a game of numbers. This is where everything shifts. Coaching stops being just an art form and becomes a hard science. With performance analytics, everything gets tracked. Serve locations, how long rallies are, even how a player moves between shots. You're not just going on gut feelings anymore. You have cold, hard data that lets you build these hyper-specific game plans to pick apart your opponent. And if you want to see what all that data actually does to the game, just look at this chart. In modern matches, you see way more winners, but you also see way more unforced errors. So what does that really mean? It means the data is basically screaming at players, be aggressive, go for your shots, take risks. It's a high-risk, high-reward style of play, and the numbers prove that it's the most effective way to win. All right, so let's recap. You've got the tech. You've got the perfectly tuned athlete. You've got the data. When everyone at the top has all that, what's left? What's the final frontier? It's the mind, the mental game. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? When two top pros face off, physically and technically, they're practically clones of each other. The deciding factor isn't about whose forehand is prettier. It's about who can hit that forehand when their hands are shaking and everything's on the line. The mental game is truly everything. And the crazy thing is, mental toughness isn't some magical quality you're just born with. No, it's a skill. You can train it, just like you train your serve. Top players work on these pillars constantly. First, emotional control. Not letting a bad call derail you. Second, positive routines, bouncing the ball the same number of times to reset between points. And third, strategic focus, sticking to your game plan no matter what the scoreboard says. It's a whole system for winning that battle inside your own head. Okay, let's put all these pieces together then. The tech, the body, the data, and the mind. So what do you get? What does the ultimate modern champion actually look like? Well, they're the synthesis of all of it, what sports scientists are now calling the adaptive expert. This idea right here, this is the key to understanding what separates the good from the truly great today. Adaptive expertise isn't just about perfectly hitting a shot you've practiced 1,000 times. It's about being able to solve a problem you've never seen before in real time with a championship on the line. Let me put it this way. A routine expert, they can groove a perfect, powerful forehand in practice all day long. But an adaptive expert, they're on match point, they see their opponent leaning just a little bit to one side, and in a split second, they improvise a totally different shot to win. See the difference? One is about following the script. The other is about being smart enough to throw the script away. That's genius in action. So at the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. That incredible, breathtaking tennis we see today isn't just one thing. It's this perfect storm, a fusion of advanced technology, perfectly optimized biomechanics, data-driven strategy, and the brilliant real-time adaptive intelligence to pull it all together when it counts. And that leaves us with a pretty wild question to think about for the future. We've seen science completely change this game. As data gets even smarter, and we're talking about AI actually getting into coaching, what's next? Are we going to be developing future champions with human intuition and vision? Or are we just going to engineer them with algorithms? It's a fascinating thing to think about for the future of the sport.